Hi, I'm Ari Bornstein. I'm currently here in Copenhagen, Denmark, representing IDC's debate team for the European files. However, this gives me the perfect opportunity to explore the beautiful city of Copenhagen and one of the most sustainable countries in the world. Right behind me is what we call Copenhagen. On one side, for some people, it is a ski resort. For others, it is simply a trash dump. This waste management place turns waste into energy that powers hundreds of thousands of homes all around the vicinity. We are in the heart of the city, and Copenhagen proves that you could use sustainable innovation and make it pretty, make it beautiful, and open to the public in a sustainable way that doesn't burn carbon, doesn't produce carbon emissions. So with that, I hope Israel could get some inspiration, and stay tuned for my presentation for I question whether Israel should take the path of solar or nuclear power to resolve its emissions crisis.
Thank you for that. Now let's actually get into it. What would it take to see Israel rely 60% on solar? We would have to have massive development. First of all, Israel already has 10% of its power grid coming from solar energy. But to get it to 60%, we would need to allocate about 1.325% of Israel's land to solar. Israel has a vast open desert, the Negev desert with high solar intensity. That is a sustainable option, but installments would also have to happen on a residential level on many houses. We would have to upgrade the smart grid, as the smart grid could not handle such a load as solar comes and goes as the sun does. We would have to be able to store these. We would have to be able to store the energy for the nighttime when the sun's no longer out and no longer can provide us energy, and we would have to be able to manage it properly. Let's get into the pros and cons. There is an abundant amount of this resource. The sun is out and it's not charging. Installments are quick and easy for modular deployment, and it can be done anywhere where there's sun, essentially. And does not take up much space. It aligns with innovative cultures. Many of the problems and the reasons why the tech is lagging behind is because there aren't solutions for storage yet or things like that. However, Israel's innovation culture, if there is an industry, there will be solutions. There is political feasibility. The government already is encouraging and making pledges to increase solar reliance, and the public supports it. Because it does bring down your electricity bill at the end of the day. There are zero emissions from this, which is the main great thing about this, and it has little pollution. What would it look like for nuclear? All you need are 4 to 6 nuclear plants, and boom, you got 60% of the energy grid covered. However, there are major complications, like the long time it takes, the massive funding security. I'll get into the pros and cons. Pros: no emissions. That is what we are shooting for. Net zero CO2 emissions, and that is what nuclear power provides. It is detachable, stable baseload. It has 90% capacity factor. Also, you get a lot of bang for your buck. You just need a little bit of uranium, and you can do a lot more than you could do with any other resource if it provides through nuclear fusion. There's the potential for geopolitical prestige. If Israel is able to succeed in building a nuclear energy plant in the Middle East, it will be the first, and other countries will look towards us for inspiration. However, the cons are it will cost between estimated $30 to $66 billion to install 4 to 6 plants, and could take between 15 to 20 years before we get any electricity out of it. There are significant security concerns, meaning if Israel has put all its eggs in one basket, that is a target for Israel's enemy. Also, the public fears the idea of nuclear, not only because they associate it traditionally with a bomb, but also because of incidences like Chernobyl, which did have minimal deaths. Public wasn't aware of that. Also, Israel, we need to obtain uranium. So they would either have to acknowledge they have uranium or get it from somebody else.
I hope you enjoyed the analysis part of my presentation. Now, for my conclusion, I believe the only pragmatic, realist, and legitimate path forward for Israel is to try to attain 60% solar energy. I think this is the most pragmatic option, as every individual house can take it upon themselves to be part of this initiative and benefit from it. Fast moving, depending on the Israeli population itself. If the Israeli population felt the urgency to move on, then we would. There is low risk, as I said. There is no threats of a nuclear explosion with solar panels. This is the cheapest options, and it will provide many jobs. Really become such a beautiful, sustainable, zero emission city.
Wow, that was very beautiful and a beautiful scene. Thank you for that. Now let's get into policy action. Let's make this happen. One of the best ways we can encourage solar use is by making a time of use pricing, meaning we charge not based off how much you use, but also based off how much time you use. If you are using energy during peak solar hours, that means that energy is essentially free if we are using solar, versus at night, it is a lot harder and we have to rely on non-renewable energies currently. So that is able to help us shift away these dynamic prices. They're easy to install. You have to install a smart meter, which the government is already encouraging. You have to educate the public, because the public will have to change their behavior and to promote this in the future, meaning you just have to tell them your energy will go down if you start using more energy at night, during the day, not at night. The last policy action I will propose is invest in research and development. Subsidize startups that are trying to enter the green market and trying to solve trying to solve the issues that are presented, not only just to solar, but to wind and all these renewable energies. Don't shut down the sustainability degree. Invest in education so that people can grow up and not only know, be conscious of their actions and live in a sustainable way, but so that they can be the ones that get jobs and create the industry that solve the solutions of the issues that are facing us in the future, and so that we can work for a more sustainable world. Thank you for your time. Thank you.